Deaths Registry discloses staff have been suspended and sanctioned for charging unapproved fees.
Also tonight, Minority in Parliament challenge government claims it is working to improve road safety, insisting the results are not being felt.
In spite of all the structures, you say we've done this, we've done that, and there are accidents on the road or on the way, come on. The end result is that people are dying, and there's carnage on the way, and so on.
Meanwhile, Parliament has come under fire for ignoring the Kintampo accident victims, rather chose to hold a minute silence for New Zealand and South Africans who died in various disasters.
That is disappointing. It's a letdown of the people who elected us to represent them. Even if a statement weren't ready, there will be at least a minute silence as a mark of respect.
And tonight, fresh eyewitness account reveals baby thief in Takrady lurked around the market circle for hours before using fried sausage as a bait to abscond with one-year-old boy.
The woman came to buy sausages. She came with 2 children. And she told me she wanted to get something for one of the children.
We have details as police review CCTV footage received from a bank.
And in business, sustaining the city's strong recovery, we hear from an economist, Professor Peter Kote.
And in sport, former Premier League champions of Ghana, owned by Kwesi Nyantakyi All-Star, sold. The new owner is John Paintil.
And also 1 year after government cut short for the ambitious Marine Drive project, we assess the progress of work on the project expected to transform Accra's coastline. We have all that and more coming up in tonight's edition of NEWSNITE. Do join us with your thoughts and comments via WhatsApp on 0244 340 437. I am MFA Pao.
And my name is Evans Mensah.
And Parliament's Foreign Affairs Committee is demanding the security agencies probe revelations of how some births and deaths registry officials are assisting foreigners to acquire birth certificates. A Joy News expose revealed the identities of some officials of the births and deaths registry who are illegally assisting foreigners to acquire Ghanaian birth certificates.
And there are a whole host of other nationalities who are doing this. Ivorians, Cameroonians, Nigerians, who are the main beneficiaries of the criminal dealings, pay as little as 150 Ghana cedis to acquire this certified document. In our latest Hotline documentary, Paper Citizens, Kwete Nate investigates the underhand dealings at the Birth and Deaths Registry.
One thing about the birth certificate is we have also realized that people bring birth certificate and the details on the birth certificate are false, so to speak.
I have come to the passport office in Accra. At one of the centers, foreigners who acquire Ghanaian birth certificates hope to secure the travel booklet. An Ivorian woman using a fake birth certificate to apply for a passport has been arrested. Wearing a purple tie and dye top on a pair of denim jeans, she caps her face in her palms and weeps. Dinah Dianeho is her Ivorian name. She was using Dinah Apia to apply for a Ghanaian passport.
They gave me 100 Ghana cedis for it. And I went in and did the birth certificate.
But do you work at the birth certificate?
No.
So who did you collaborate with at the birth cert to do it for her?
I did not collaborate with anyone. I went there myself.
But you knew that she wasn't a Ghanaian. So why did you get a Ghanaian birth cert?
I changed the names that she used to a Ghanaian name.
I have come to the Birth and Death Registry's main office at the ministries. I meet a staff of the registry who identifies himself only as Charles. I caught up with him assisting a Nigerian to get a birth certificate. He is charging 100 cedis.
Let's delete it. We pay 100 cedis, we delete it from the system. And then we pay 80 cedis, we do new one. 100 will sponge it from the system. I'll take those informations off from the system. Now, it's on the notice board, you pay 100 cedis. Then you sponge it. And then you pay 80 cedis for it. Then you pay a new one. I will take all the details, everything. But that's what we should have. But you let's give this one go through. Okay, you wait. I'll try. If it doesn't go to, I'll give a call. For the Ghana, Nigeria, I'll try. If it doesn't go to, I'll call you.
Birth is expected to be registered for free. Late registration attracts a processing and penalty charge of 50 cedis. Particular search in the register of births and deaths registry is 5 cedis, but Charles charges 100 cedis for what he calls an executive search.
I want to change it as a market.
But I want to make the name the Ashama.
Ashama. Ashama, don't make it the Ashama. That if you get like Tema, that you are not get Tema or that area, Tishi.
That one will be the advantage. That one be.
That is close to Ashama. You see, like Tishi, there's a Kuku, Lekma, those areas. You see that like Lekma, that area.
Like Ashama. But the Lekma there, why you get people for their way?
I guess somebody will feel good for them. If you do that be what you did. So you take it and make it good for them.
So my money, how far?
My money there go. Let me pay the
So that's Kwete Nati's report, quite revealing there. But Chief Executive Officer of the Public Sector Reforms, Kusi Boafo, tells Joy News they are aware of foreigners taking advantage of the weak systems to acquire birth certificates and passports, but adds they are digitizing the system to address these inefficiencies.
Well, we have identified that there are delays, possible corruption, and then issue of issuing birth certificates and passports to foreigners, which we are seriously aware of this. Only that officially it has not come to us. It is a fact that our own study indicate that these things are generally widespread, among the frontline service delivery agencies. So we want to find a way of digitizing the area to especially passport office. There is a new project which is called Public Sector Reform for Resource Project that we have secured a loan of $35 million to capacitate the area to the level that they will be able to deliver efficient services. So currently we are working on the modalities to set them up. So very soon, hopefully by early June, we should be in a position to get things underway to ensure that the whole process is digitized to understand that you will not find a lot of people flocking the passport office all the time, queuing for long periods and wasting their time. We want people, the passport office. So right now, we have the application online, and we want the delivery to also be on timely basis, and also ensure that the delivery is sent to an appropriate unit in the various districts, so that those who are applying can pick their passports from there instead of having to travel to Accra all the time and in the big cities. This is creating a lot of problems for them.
You are the Chief Executive Officer of the Public Sector Reforms. We'll see how that digitization of the system will work. But let's speak to Chairman of the Foreign Affairs Committee in Parliament, Mr. Anodompre. We're grateful for your time here on NEWSNITE. So with as low as 150 Ghana cedis, you can become a Ghanaian overnight. How cheap it is to be a Ghanaian national. Is this the first time you're hearing about this?
Yeah, I mean, this is the first time we've heard about this, in bits and rumor. But this is the first time such an exposure is coming out, done by your outfit. So yes, it's the first time we're hearing, the extent of it. But let me say that I agree with Mr. Kusi Boafo. There is a whole lot of efforts underway to improve even the Ghanaian visa being issued. I'm aware the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration are doing all they can to improve on the security features and then even acquisition of passport. But I want to say that the matter at hand, as you have brokered, we have to delve further. I intend to raise this matter before the Speaker. Ordinarily, the committee cannot investigate such matters unless we are it is a referral from the Speaker. I also believe that it will not be out of place if the national security decides to investigate better further into this matter, because I cannot imagine why some our fellow Ghanaians could be this unpatriotic and could stoop this low to engage in what allegedly engage in what they are engaging in. It's too bad, and it tells it smells a lot of bad impression about our public service officials. So it looks so real if I look at the evidence you guys have channeled, but I think that we need to get to the bottom of it. The National Security could collaborate with our committee when we get a directive from the Speaker. We can delve better into this matter and resolve it. But I'm rudely saddened and shocked by the extent of some of our public officials engaging in such matters.
Well, obvious implications there are for us if Ivorians, Cameroonians, Nigerians can become Ghanaians overnight. What specific measures do you think must be put in place to curb this menace?
Well, you see, there's a whole lot of things we have to do. I think that we have slept over the years. If you look at in the sub-region, even in the sub-region, not beyond the frontiers of the sub-region, our neighbors are improving upon their security features. Not too far. Rwanda, they're doing so well. All the African countries are doing well. We have slept over the years. One of the things we can do is that the acquisition of birth certificates, we have to streamline the process. If, a child is born in the hospital, that is where the process should start. And then we should be able to improve the security features over there. In this time and age where digitization, ICT is taken to another level, we also need to change with time. And as I indicated, we have allowed things to degenerate, and we have relied on the traditional and the methodology that we are used to over the years. And unfortunately, the human element is making people cash in on the process, and it's also unfortunate. I want to congratulate multimedia for bringing this matter up, and I think that the earlier we act, the better for all of us. But it's out of place, and I think that if investigated and people are found culpable, we have to punish those who are involved in this.
But just before we let you off, Mr. Anodompre, you've talked about drawing the Speaker's attention to this, but you also earlier alluded to a probe. You were, recommending that there should be a probe. But what kind do you recommend, and how sure are we that this will not just be another talk?
It will not be another talk. Well, I can tell you, but as I said, it depends on what the Speaker will say, because we don't have the powers to begin investigation on our own. It will have to be based on referral from the leadership of the Speaker of Parliament. That is, if the Select Committee on Foreign Affairs will investigate in this matter anyway. But the national security, they have all the legal bases and they have all the powers, they have the wherewithal to also investigate. So if appropriately, there could be a collaboration between our committee, if the Speaker decides, and the national security outfit. This is a matter that we must not leave to rest, because other foreign nationals become Ghanaians suddenly, and then they engage in all sorts of activities, and we cannot ascertain their nationality. It undermines the reputation of our country, and we cannot allow this to continue. So I can tell you confidently, this is something that we will not be allowed to be swept under the carpet. I will push and do everything within my powers to convince the Speaker. If national security will not investigate, we will investigate. That I can say for that.
We're grateful for your time, Mr. Frank Anodompre. He's the chairman of Parliament's Foreign Affairs Committee. And remember, Paper Citizens airs tonight on the Joy News channel on Multi TV at 8:30 p.m.
Now, Registrar of the Birth and Death Registry, Reverend Kingsley Addo, says he has sanctioned, suspended, or put on hold staff promotions because of such practices.
Personally, I've had to suspend a few staff. I've had to also hold the salaries of some of the staff, a couple of them. And we have even had to cause some of these middlemen to be apprehended and picked up. And once they are picked up, it's now a question of the law. But unfortunately for us, you pursue the case to prosecution level, and the person is charged for misdemeanor, and he is just cautioned and let off. So the next day, they are here. So I think our powers will end somewhere. We need to look at some of these laws and see how we can make them a bit prohibitive to discourage people from taking advantage of some of these weaknesses in the law.
What are the laid down sanctions if a staff flouts these rules that we are talking about?
Every staff who is employed on oath, and the act that governs civil registration clearly states, first of all, you don't even have to divulge any information that you collect to anybody. There are sanctions for it. It will go from a fine or to a jail term. If you did anything that will go against laid down regulations and procedure, then you are a civil servant in the first place. So you are subject to the disciplinary code of the civil service. So it starts from reprimanding to suspension to ultimately dismissal. But there are processes that you have to go through to ensure that you don't victimize anybody also unnecessarily.
You're still listening to NEWSNITE. That's Registrar of the Birth and Death Registry, Reverend Kingsley Addo. Still ahead, minority in Parliament challenges claims by government that is working to improve road safety, insisting the results are not being felt.
In spite of all the structures, you say we've done this, we've done that, and there are accidents on the road or on the way, come on. The end result is that people are dying, and there's carnage on the way, and so on.
Meanwhile, Parliament has come under fire for ignoring the Kintampo accident victims and rather choosing to hold minute silence for New Zealand and South Africans who died in various disasters.
That is disappointing. It's a letdown of the people who elected us to represent them. Even if a statement weren't ready, there will be at least a minute silence as a mark of respect.
We interrupt this program to bring you breaking news. No expiry demonstrations have broken out all across the country. Ghanaians are demanding the right to use their data for as long as they want.
No expiry! No expiry!
In an effort to appease the situation, Airtel Tigo has scrapped data expiry. Our reporter Abna is on the ground.
What do you think about Airtel Tigo's new data bundle?
What is mine should be mine for as long as I want.
What about you, sir?
Oh, now with big time data bundles, we can browse, sir.
Airtel Tigo says, their data doesn't expire. Dial *111# today and get big time data so you can browse only on Airtel Tigo.
Here's what people are saying about the GCB Easy Pick.
It just makes sense.
It just makes sense.
It just makes sense.
It just makes sense. Yes, saving makes a lot more sense now. GCB Bank will pay for anything you buy from phones, TVs, air conditioners, generators, solar equipment to roofing sheets from any GCB partner shop. And you can pay back later at a reduced price of up to 25% in discounts. Simply walk into any GCB partner shop, pick up what you want at a GCB discount price and fill a form. GCB will pay for you so you can pay back later in installments. Go, get it sooner, get it cheaper, pay later. GCB Easy Pick, it just makes sense. Terms and conditions apply.
GCB Bank, your bank for life. This is what you've been waiting for. The internet experience you've been dreaming about. Welcome to Vodafone's Gigabit Net. Music, pictures, and large documents downloaded in seconds. Lessons from your favorite online masterclass streamed right into your bedroom. Video calls with friends anywhere in the world. Be part of the real 4G experience on Vodafone's Gigabit Net at amazing speeds and seamless connectivity. With Vodafone's Gigabit Net, it's not downloading, it's downloaded. It's not sending, it's sent. It's not buffering, it's streaming. Switch to Vodafone and get the real 4G experience on Ghana's only Gigabit network. The future is exciting. Ready?
Thank you, folks. On my A list today, show some love for Contractor EB. So, Contractor, what do you think about the country's changing skyline?
Oh, send them down there, Shurima. Across skyline, they change you.
Wow. Contractor, don't you get worried when you hear of buildings collapsing?
I'm not for an one on Tassam. It is the likability of using low quality product.
Please explain why.
Yeah, cement is no quality on your gasem. Village of Fefu. It was built with gasem. Says the gasem is your construction. Osi ho pumping. She N1. Can you tell market? Kotokana Kumasi Airport. Cape Coast Stadium. Atrabu gas project in na. Gasebo. Messi what the quality. You know what is the quality?
Gasem. 3 cement grades. Greater value. Gasem. The nation builder.
Joy 99.7 FM.
And you are live on NEWSNITE. It's on Joy 99.7 FM. To some other stories now, the minority in Parliament is challenging claims by government that it is working to improve upon road safety in the country following the death of more than 60 people in an accident in Kintampo over the weekend. There have been questions about the work of an interministerial task force set up by the president last year to deal with road safety. Executive Director of the National Road Safety Commission, Mayor Briebwa, says the committee's recommendations are being implemented.
The report recommended the following. 1. Transformation of the National Road Safety Commission to an authority and a budgetary support of 6.5 million cedis for the commission to scale up public education, sensitization, and training. 2. Request for approval of a proposal by the Ghana Police Service to enable the MTTD to A, deploy traffic cameras systems to detect and apprehend speed, red light, and related traffic offenses, and B, remove disabled vehicles from the road. 3. Request for an amount of 1.05 billion Ghana cedis for the road agencies, that is Ghana Highway Authority, Department of Urban Roads, and Department of Feeder Roads, to clear the backlog of road signs, road line markings, traffic signal lights, and crash barriers on the national road network. By a letter dated 16 April 2018, the President granted executive approval for the proposed working solutions.
Well, former Deputy Roads Minister Isaac J. Mensah says government's claim that it is investing hugely in road safety in the road sector is not yielding results.
I think that we have to enforce the rules. We have to ensure that we make the provision of resources much clearer and ensure that we have evidence to show that what we have now, if you set a timeline and everything, is not working. So let's re-look into the system, the rules and regulations, the support, the structures in place, and add some more to it and intensify the road and safety education thing. It works. I think that in the past there have been some successes on the NDC where we provided resources and where we continued to ensure that people are engaged and education and so on put in place properly. It works.
I think that same level of commitment.
I think that it's lacking. When you get accidents going up, you see, the issue is that you can have benchmarks. If you put in resources and structures and the results are bad, you can say that when the accident levels were better, I'm talking about a situation where it has reduced, and now that accident is going up, you certainly would think that there's a problem with the system. So the government will have
to... So you're convinced as such that there is a problem somewhere,
of course, yes,
which is
need to be fixed.
Making it impossible for them to work as they were during your regime.
Exactly. So we need to put in more energy to get it done. As a committee, the committee will ensure that whatever it takes to put the government, at its toes, we do it. But the government must have that, responsibility, that tenacity to say, yes, I want to make sure that we have reduced accident. You don't just throw the curtain or the towel out and say that it's the spread.
They are boosting of successes. The Information Ministry indicates the task force recommendations are being, met to the latter. The task force comprising the interior, the
and so there's accident. And so the accident, when the accident, you don't just throw the towel away. The issue is that we put in place all these structures to ensure that there is safety, life is safe, and so on. You travel and you go and come back safely. And so, in spite of all the structures, you say we've done this, we've done that, and there are accidents on the road or on the way, come on. Because you are saying you have provided this. But the end result is that people are dying. There's carnage on the way, and so on. If we put in resources and there are carnages, there are accidents on the way, we need to review or re-look into the system and see how best can we move as a people to reduce accidents and so on. So I think it's a shame.
Well, that is former Deputy Roads Minister Isaac J. Mensah, who himself is a parliamentarian. Let's stay in Parliament because Parliament has come in for some strong criticism tonight when they ignored the Kintampo accident that cost more than 70 lives. In fact, there was another accident just on Friday in the central region that claimed about 10 lives. Ignored all those lives right here in Ghana and rather chose to hold minutes of silence for New Zealand and Southern Africans who died in various disasters. The House today discussed both issues, but did not discuss the Kintampo and Central Region accidents that claimed more than 70 lives. Kumbungu MP Ras Mubarak described the situation as disappointing. We will hear from him in a while, but my colleague Joseph Gakpo is in the studio with details. What was business in the House like today?
So this morning, the ranking member on the Foreign Affairs Committee, Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa, read a statement on the death that resulted from the cyclone situation in Mozambique, Zimbabwe, and Malawi. And he even called on MPs to voluntarily contribute so that then they'll put that together and go give to the victims. When that was done, the Speaker referred the issue to the Committee on Foreign Affairs and said they should report on that back to the House by next week, Wednesday. And on the back of that, the House observed a minute silence for those who had lost their lives in that particular cyclone situation. And then there was a second statement from the Chairman of Parliament's Constitution, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs Committee, Ben Abdallah, who is also the MP for Fenso South, on the situation in New Zealand, in which a gentleman walked into a mosque with a gun and killed close to 50 people. And they condemned that as MPs. And again, on the back of that, there was the observance of another minute of silence for those individuals who had actually lost their lives.
I see. So that, yeah.
Some MPs are not exactly excited that no attention was paid to the Kintampo disaster issue. As Mubarak, who is the MP for Kumbungu, he was sitting at the Public Accounts Committee, so he wasn't in the chamber. But he thinks his colleagues could have done better by dealing with the Kintampo disaster issue as well.
That is disappointing. It's a letdown of the people who elected us to represent them. This is a national disaster. We represent the people, and one would expect that even if a statement weren't ready, there will be at least a minute silence as a mark of respect for our compatriots who have lost their lives tragically. But I'm also disappointed by the fact that the president hasn't found time to visit surviving victims, many of whom are still in hospital. And again, that shows a lack of leadership. Timeliness is key, and you would expect that in such disasters, Parliament, as a representative of the people of Ghana, would rise to the occasion and show its mark of respect. We've lost an opportunity to do that. I mean, if you are doing a statement 5 days after an event, it clearly loses relevance. And I think this is some of the things that, as a House, we ought to look out for. But I also know for a fact that one of my colleagues, the Honorable Albert Azal-Zulga, whose constituents, about 52 of them, lost their lives in that particular accident, is planning a statement for Wednesday or so.
How does Parliament rectify that, you think?
I'm hoping that, latest tomorrow, not only would we have a statement on the floor, but the minister responsible for transport would be in the House to address the nation through Parliament on what the ministry is doing to curb these needless accidents on our roads.
And that's a Kumbungu MP Ras Mubarak. Now, Joseph, there's a fundamental question about whether or not Parliament can amend its own rules in the case of an emergency. I know from what you've described, these two New Zealand and Southern Africa MPs had written directly to the Speaker and had been admitted and put on the business today. Last week, Fridays, was not part of the official business today in the House. However, did the rules allow Parliament to reconsider in the wake of the Friday's tragic accidents?
Ordinarily, for example, those two statements had been prepared, submitted to the office of the Speaker. The green light had been given and they'll be read today. That's how come they came up on the floor. There's been instances when disasters have happened, and not just disasters, if my memory serves me right. Even when the incident happened in Kintampo with the waterfalls, the tourism minister then showed up, to do a briefing like that, out of the blues. There was another one having to do with when the issue of the Oslo Chancery matter came up. An unprepared statement, the minister showed up and the indication was that there was an emergency statement that needed to be delivered, and then she was given the chance to go ahead and deliver that statement on the floor. Looks like in this case, no MP had anything prepared and was ready to put out any details on that, which is how come it didn't feature on the floor. And as Ras Mubarak was indicating, the MP for Garu is planning something for Wednesday when probably the opportunity will be given for all MPs to comment on it, and then maybe the minute of silence will actually be observed then.
Meanwhile, still on this matter, the National Roads Authority Bill 2019, seeking to transform the commission into an authority, has also been laid on the floor of the House. Joseph.
That was done this morning, and the indication is that this act will establish the Road Safety Commission as an authority to develop and promote road safety in the country, and also to coordinate and regulate activities, procedures, and standards relating to issues having to do with road safety, and also to provide for related matters. So the document has been referred to the Roads and Transport Committee of Parliament for consideration.
Joseph, thank you very much. Meanwhile, road safety advocates Ghana blames Parliament and the Road Ministry for the carnage we see on our roads. According to the NGO, the increasing crashes in the country should be blamed on Parliament's failure to pass a law to regulate commercial transport services, as it has emerged that that doesn't exist as of now. Now, the police say one of the drivers involved in the Kintampo to Chiman accident was speeding whilst sleeping behind the steering wheel. The Kintampo Divisional Police Commander ACP Joseph Entry Jou also added that about 20 bodies have been identified and taken by families of the victim. That's the latest on the Kintampo incident. It's now time for business, and right after business, a fresh eyewitness account revealed baby thief in Takrady lurked around the market circle for hours before using fried sausage as a bait to abscond with one-year-old boy.
The woman came to buy sausages. She came with 2 children. And she told me she wanted to get something for one of the children.
We have details as police review CCTV footage from a bank premises to identify suspect. George.
And Evans, do you have any dollars that you don't actually need?
All my dollars are in a bank.
You may have to look at, if you don't need them, you have to dispose them, right? Because the rate at which...
Even if it's in the bank?
No, if you don't need those dollars for any dollar-related transaction...
Even if it's in the bank?
Well, fine. You're not going to earn any interest on it.
Yeah.
So imagine the dollar today, the value you're going to get in a week's time or in a week's time, almost the same, because the projection is that...
That is if you intend to spend it locally.
Yeah, the projection is that this week we could get into the 4 city range as we are nearing...
Which is good for the economy.
Yeah, we are around 5 cities right now in terms of trading and what these commercial banks are offering. So do away with those dollars. Well, that business news, the country drops by 4 places to 9th in the latest Rand Merchant Bank Where to Invest in Africa report. The business news on NEWSNITE is brought to you by MTN. Welcome to the new world of business. Kingdom Books and Stationery, your number one-stop shop for all your office essentials. And First National Bank, we are the bank that understands your business. First National Bank, how can we help you?
It's your day off and you end up looking after the baby while your wife goes off to work. You realize you have no idea how to change a diaper. So you video call your wife.
Hello, darling.
Yeah, hello. Hello.
Kojo, is everything all right?
Everything is all right. I'm not seeing Topu. How do I change a baby's diaper, please?
Kojo. Okay, first, put the diaper...
The video call freezes. While you wait for the internet to catch up, the baby sprouts a fountain and wets the diaper. As you are getting a new one, your wife comes back online.
Kojo, no! Why did you leave Abeko alone on the bed?
But I had to go and get a new diaper. What must I do next? I beg, quick.
Open the front of the diaper. It's the side that has...
Wow, look, the video freezes again. Abba. By now, you know where the conversation is going. There's no buffering in real life, so why accept it from your internet connection? Get connected and experience ultra-fast internet to your home, powered by MTN Fiber Broadband. We're there for you, everywhere you go.
We give you nothing but the best, we stay above the rest. More quality, more affordability. Kingdom Books and Stationery. Everybody's going to the one and only shop where customer satisfaction is a guarantee. Kingdom Books and Stationery.
Oh yes, with our 30 days credit facility with no interest charge, free delivery services, and our free consultation on setting up your office, Kingdom Books and Stationery is unmatched in our delivery of quality and affordable office essentials, equipment, and furniture.
Experience
experience world-class customer service in all our branches in Accra, Tema, Kumasi, Cape Coast, and Takoradi.
Call us on 0302-764-101
or visit our website at www.kingdomgh.com.
Kingdom Books and Stationery, your number one-stop shop for all office essentials and stationery. Terms and conditions apply.
Honey, I need to get some.
But I don't have cash on me. Let me get some fuel quickly and let's go.
And how are you going to get the fuel? I thought you said you didn't have cash on you. What is this one?
My Puma card.
All it takes is a card. The Puma card allows you to buy fuel cash-free from all Puma energy filling stations. You can use your Puma card with any Visa points of sale and ATM across the country. The Puma card also works on mobile money. You get amazing discounts when you fill up with your Puma card. So register for free and get your Puma card instantly at any Puma filling station.
And you only got one for yourself, eh?
Yeah, would I have had my piece of mind?
Oh, thank you, honey.
And where are you going?
I'm getting something from the shop real quick. I need to test the card.
Puma card. Cash-free convenience.
If money no be problem, or you've caught the virus of success, then this party is for you. SC Connect Garden Party is a unique blend of fun, music, and good food. Come connect while having the time of your life with talents like Sonic at the Polo Grounds as we network and enjoy the community of SC Mobile. To get an invite to this party, simply download the SC Mobile digital banking app, activate and fund your account with a minimum of 200 Ghana cedis. The SC Connect Garden Party is happening on Saturday, 30th of March. Pick up your tickets at the Polo Grounds before then. It's gonna be awesome. You can't miss out. Visit the app or Play Store now and hashtag Be Unstoppable. Call our Client Care Center toll free on 0800-740-100 on all networks or email digitalbanking.gh@sc.com. Standard Chartered. Here for good. Terms and conditions apply.
First National Bank presents its 4th edition of the Economic and Business Breakfast, an opportunity for the Ghanaian business community to understand the macroeconomic fundamentals with the practicalities of doing business in Ghana. According to the 8th edition of Where to Invest in Africa report by RMB, the corporate and investment banking arm of First Rand Group, Ghana remains one of the top 10 most attractive investment destinations in Africa. Senior RMB researcher Celeste Fakone will assess each African economy's investment potential with a key focus on Ghana's economic future. Date is Tuesday, 26th March 2019 at 9 a.m. This event is strictly by invitation. Call 0242-435050 or email info@firstnationalbank.com.gh to book a seat. Proudly supported by Joy Business, empowering, prospering together. First National Bank. How can we help you?
You're welcome back to Business on Newsnight. Now, the country dropped by 4 places to 9th in the latest Where to Invest Africa report for 2019. This was contained in the Johannesburg-based Rand Merchant Bank, which looked at the best place to invest in Africa. This means Ghana dropped from 5th in 2018 to 9th in 2019, but still remains among the top 10 investment destinations in Africa. The bank attributes the country's drop in rankings to a downward review of the country's 2018 growth rate by the IMF and some weakness identified in the banking sector. Despite this drop, Ghana was the second best place in West Africa to invest after Nigeria. For more on this report, join Rand Merchant Bank analyst Celeste Falconer, the 4th First National Bank Economic Breakfast Forum at Mervyn Peak Hotel, that is tomorrow. Now, Stanchart Global Risk boss Rup Burhan is attributing the high investor interest in Ghana to some prudent management of the economy. His comments follows the record $21 billion bids for the country's recent Eurobond auction, even though government was exiting from the IMF program. Mr. Burhan tells Joy Business investors are kind of convinced about the outlook for the economy, even without the IMF.
The outlook for Ghana, and you can see this from evidence in the markets, fund flows look very, very interesting. There is renewed risk appetite for Ghana risk. This was evidence in the latest Eurobond issue that the Ghanaian government came up with. There was significant risk appetite for Ghanaian risk. And this is just the Euro bonds. You've had sustained interest in your local currency bonds. More than 30% of your bond holdings are with foreign investors. That's a great sign of confidence. The market action for the new dollar issuances, the 3 tranches that you recently issued.
Standard Chartered Bank Group Global Boss in charge of risk and credit management, that is Rube Baru. Now, the local currency has witnessed one of its strongest recovery over the past weeks. The cedi, which was being sold at around 5 Ghana cedis, 90 pesos some 3 weeks ago, is today trading at around 5 Ghana cedis. This follows the Bank of Ghana's decision to actually step up its dollar cash support for the market. But how can we sustain the strong recovery in the short term? In speaking to economist Professor Peter Korte.
One area is trying to reduce our import bill by producing quite a lot of what we consume. I see a lot of sense in the 10-point industrialization strategy. They planted for food and jobs. Rice, for instance, is 6 on the import bill, number 6. So if we are self-sufficient in rice, it means we are saving a lot of foreign exchange. The ease at which people get access to dollars and trade with is one of the major problems that is causing this exchange rate problems. Our borders are loose. You can walk to any forest bureau or market and exchange.
In terms of the FX, do you think that we should be a little bit tough on enforcing the FX laws?
I think we should.
Peter Korte is an economist. Are you still holding on to those dollar cash when it's actually not needed for any dollar-related transaction? Well, this might be the time to try and sell those hard currencies. Now, this is because there has been projections that it could hit the 4 Ghana cedi range this week. I imagine you got the dollars at around 5 Ghana cedis, and we're hoping that the cedi would depreciate further for it to make some gains. Well, it looks like it has changed. The things have changed, and you may have to move now to ensure that the investments are safe. In a later development, we understand that some banks were even trying to sell as much as $45 million on the market, and they were struggling to get a buyer for the amount that we're putting on the market. The IMF has justified some of its tough policy measures that government was forced to implement under the 4-year fund program. According to the IMF, development in the coming months would indeed support the actions that they took. There is more in this Business Desk report.
The 4-year extended credit facility program came with some tough conditions, like partial restriction on employment into the public sector and even the amount of money government had to borrow. Some of IMF's comments about the economy also affected investor interest in the country's bonds. The Bank of Ghana was also required to have their reserves up to a certain level. This development, for instance, made it difficult for the Bank of Ghana to halt the cedi's depreciation. But for the IMF's country representative to Ghana, these measures would be very important to help stabilize the economy.
We should be given credit for taking all that on board. And the heavy lifting, I think the attention is too often put on us. But I think in this case, and in most cases, this is the people of Ghana, this is authorities that have been able to go from where we were in 20 where we are now.
However, there are still concerns about whether the required structural reforms instituted over the past years really helped the economy on a strong footing in the coming years.
And that was a Business Desk report. Now, the World Bank has given its firm commitment to support Ghana to help stabilize the economy. Visiting World Bank Vice President Hafez Ghanez disclosed this when he paid a courtesy call on President Akufo-Addo at the Flagstaff House today.
We will do all our best to increase the size of our support and to also improve its quality and its focus, to respond to your needs and your priority. So I'm here really to listen to you, Excellency, to hear from you. What are your priorities? Your priorities should be our priorities, and we should therefore work as much as we can to support you and ensure your success.
Visiting World Bank President Hafez Ghanem. Now, government in partnership with multinational computer tech firm Oracle will provide 100 recruits under the national Brothers Corps, that is NACOP training on Oracle database. The one-week training, which was organized by the Oracle University in Accra, will provide these young recruits with the chance to learn about the multiples, or actually the database, and understanding this whole computer-based system. Now, Chief Executive of NAPCO, Dr. Ibrahim Anya, spoke to Joy Business at the opening of the training program.
So for this is one of the lead programs or projects under Digitize Ghana, the Oracle partnership, and these guys are going to be trained to deal with public financial management systems, and we're targeting about 100 young people to do this. Now think about it. For those that are involved with technology today, it's only a few people who are ruling the world and making all the money. We believe that this 100 people may well end up recruiting their colleagues and starting their own businesses so that the nation will be the better for it. Yeah.
The training program, which is funded by the World Bank, is expected to cost $12 million. For those who have investment on the Ghana Stock Exchange, well, EcoBank witnessed one of its biggest jump in value. At the end of trading today, was up by 23 pesos to close at 7 Ghana cedis and 96 pesos. For Enterprise Group, Standard Chartered Bank, SIC, they actually lost a peso each at the end of trading today. And that's all for business on Newsnight.
Thank you very much, George. Let's take some of your comments. Most of you are commenting on Paper Citizens, and it's airing tonight at 8:30 p.m. on the Joy News channel. This one says about the birth certificate registry charging unapproved fees. I have one lady who also charges 70 Ghana cedis and 100 Ghana cedis for express. This one from Desmond in Cape Coast also says, I would like to know how much one is expected to pay for a biometric birth certificate. I remember I had to pay 80 Ghana cedis for my birth certificate to be upgraded to the biometric form in 2014. So from what we know, it's supposed to be 50 Ghana cedis. The breakdown is 20 Ghana cedis for penalty and 30 Ghana cedis for processing. That's the fixed rate. That's what you're supposed to pay, 50 Ghana cedis for 2 weeks, and you're supposed to get your birth certificate. And this one from Wolanyo says, it's not the roads, it's the drivers. Honestly, the better the road in Ghana, the easier it is for them to drive recklessly. Simple truth, he says. And this one from Nana on the Spintex Road says, with this fake Ghanaians, it's obvious the reason why our U.S. embassy is unable to help with the repatriation of the 7,000 illegal Ghanaians they have in their possession. And
Kofi Siri says it is very unfortunate that the energy minister will seek to politicize the destruction of national assets. Another one says MFI Nigerian came to Ghana purposely for a Ghanaian passport. He told us after begging us to accommodate him in a container tailoring shop at the Dabraka. We told him it's illegal, and when caught, the consequences will be dire. He confidently told us, most of his Ghanaian friends came for Ghanaian passports before traveling to South Africa. He says he came back after 2 weeks brandishing a Ghanaian passport, to our surprise, since his name tells everyone at a glance he was a Ghanaian. He called
Nigerian.
From Nigerian, yes. He called from South Africa, thanking us for accommodating him. So that's a story there
So he was
that one of our texters is sharing. Now, fresh eyewitness accounts reveal a baby thief at the Takrady Market Circle may have lurked around the market circle for hours before using fried sausage as a bait to abscond with one-year-old baby.
Now, police in the Western region has launched a manhunt for the woman, but traders say though there was something suspicious about the woman, they did not think she was stealing the child. A fried sausage vendor from whom the woman bought sausages for the one-year-old Francis Mausi Ahiabenu has been speaking to correspondent in Athalia Konsa.
The
woman came to buy sausages. She came with 2 children, a 4-year-old and a 1-year-old. But she was panicking the whole time, and she told me she wanted to get something for one of the children.
It's one more uncle, and also they get paying the soon to Sadia or person paying the Elcotadi and Eba. So they're not all, and I said, and who be I said
she wanted to leave the younger one with me. I was confused.
Sorry for my cunyan, so I say, and I'm big now, and I make sure constant me should be a woman or until and a woman.
Before I knew it, she went and returned to take the second child away. She looked suspicious, but I thought she wanted to leave the child with me and run away.
We know Mark and I'm too okay, Mr. Person, because I'm who Sadia on Peja Koran and Kwana, Uncle Cotton, or Cotton, to Peja Koran and who told me because me the minimum say, or Jacorani jamming away Janiaco. Into Peja Koran and Miss Fan has said, Man, Tanny made you cry and she say, I saw Quacoto at Sajan and I say on Concotat.
Now, 1-year-old Francis Mausi Ahiabenu's mother, Nana Akusia Beiwea, has been telling Joy News the circumstances leading to the disappearance of her son.
She came to the police station to report. According to her, when she sees the woman, she will be able to.
This woman took baby Mousy and his sister to get them sausages across the street. Unfortunately, she returned with just baby Mousy's sister, who kept crying because baby Mousy is not with them. I asked the woman to go back and bring baby Mousy, and she never returned. I had to rush to the area and I was told she had fled with my baby. Please help me. I'm in so much pain. I want my baby back.
Now, meanwhile, Western Region Police is reviewing some CCTV footage from a bank that is believed to have captured the suspect making away from the scene of the abduction with baby Mousy in her arms. DSP Olivia Adiko is Western Region Police PRO.
She came to the police station to report. According to her, when she sees the woman, she will be able to identify her, but she doesn't know her name. She doesn't know where she's coming from. Based on that conversation that they had, and the woman said she was a sister, that is why she entrusted her children to them. She has been able to produce a picture of the baby. So far, all the barriers have been alerted and the other checkpoints. But we are also sending those pictures to our headquarters for publication on the website. We also had information that one bank around the area, CCTV, was able to capture the woman. So police are there to be able to get that footage to see whether we can get a clearer view of the woman.
Now, she's been appealing to members of the public to report any suspicious characters to police to assist in tracking down this baby thief. Meanwhile, it's been over 200 days since the first of 3 girls in Takoradi disappeared.
Ranking member on the Gender Committee in Parliament, Ladia Yamba, says the recent cases of kidnappings and abductions in the Western region are alarming. She's been calling on the police to speed up investigations to track the perpetrators and reunite the missing children with their families.
A child of 1 year who has been taken away for more than 3 days, you cannot imagine, is the child alive? Who knows that mother, that woman who took the child away? Nobody can tell. And I'm so hurt because what could you be doing with a woman whom you do not know? Because from the story I read, if only that is a fact of it, from the story it looks like the mother of the child doesn't even know the woman who took the child away and just even gave the child to her. So some amount of carelessness has also taken place. You cannot give your child of 1 year, someone who cannot talk, to a woman you do not know, you've never met. Parents, we need to be very careful. Government should also come up very strongly, especially with CCTV cameras. Because if you looked at the incident that just occurred, the kidnapping of that small boy, you see that fortunately you can see, though the figure is not that clear, you can see it on CCTV. So if CCTVs are made available on our routes, especially the main ones and certain social areas, you realize that certain information can be picked. Not to talk of girls who have just gone out and to come out or something of that sort, only for it to become that they have been kidnapped, they are gone. We are not getting any substantive, any good information about them. I don't want to say that the police are not doing their best, but is their best the best is the question.
Do you think their best has been the best?
I don't think that.
Well, we here at Joy News continue our campaign to pile pressure on state security agencies to find the girls. # bring back our tardy girls. See something, say something.
For
the parent is sadness. Well, mine is not. It is anger. And I expect you to be angry. The kind of anger that is required for state agencies to act swiftly. In the meantime, we're still looking for the girls. See something, say something.
Imagine waking up one morning with a dream, with a hope. Maybe you just want to live your life. And then sometime during the day, somebody just kidnaps you and all these dreams are extinguished. This is what has happened to 3 young girls in the secondary Takoradi metropolis. Their families are agonizing, their communities are distraught, and the nation is seriously looking for them. We need your help. If you see something, say something.
Our thoughts and prayers at this moment are with the families of the victims, and we also call on the relevant state agencies to expedite action, double the effort to ensure the safe return of these girls.
Imagine the agony of losing a sister or a dear one. These are 3 mothers looking for 3 daughters. Where is the hope? Where is the ray of sunshine? We need to find our girls.
Bring back our tardy 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 girls.
So we would not say, I mean, so not for me,
Bring back our tardy girls.
And so please join the campaign, Bring Back Our Tardy Girls. Let's do some sports now. Hello, Gary.
Hello, Evans. And like we headlined, ex-Ghana international and coach John Pentil has confirmed the takeover of WA All-Stars, which was previously owned and bankrolled by former Ghana Football Association President Kwesi Nyantakyi. Pentil makes this move after months of negotiations and agreements on modalities for the takeover. In a statement, John Pentil described recent rumors of the former Premier League club pulling out of the Normalization Committee's special competition as false. The special competition, which saw some hitches due to a lack of agreement between clubs and the Normalization Committee, is expected to be launched later this evening. This will have a unique format with participation of both first and second tier clubs in Ghana. And the statement from John Pentil says that we wish to inform the general public that the said publication is false and should be treated as such. We will, in the course of time, outline the measures we will implement to ensure that the clubs becomes not only the best in Ghana, but Africa. So John Pentil currently is the new owner of WA All-Stars Football Club.
We wish him well.
Yes.
Now, government has put before Parliament a bill seeking to make education from kindergarten to senior high school compulsory. President Akufo-Addo made the announcement today at a meeting with the Vice President of the World Bank. He said the move is to develop the human capital of the country and make them competitive in the global space. Now, Dr. Hafiz Ghanem is in the country to discuss various areas of cooperation between the World Bank and Ghana. Whilst applauding Ghana for the introduction of the free senior high school program, he expressed concern about the phenomenon of forced and early marriages among girls of school-going age.
Which is, first of all, we are very supportive and we are of your decision to make all education free. I think all up to secondary school. I think that this is extremely important, and would like to help and support that as much as possible. One of the issues that worry me, and not just in Ghana but across, actually Ghana is not as bad a problem, it's not as big a problem as in other countries in Africa, is the young age of marriage for girls. The fact that many of our girls leave school early and get married early and have children early, which has demographic implications.
You heard that Dr. Hafiz Ghanem is the Vice President of the World Bank. President Akufo-Addo says the bill will ensure that no child is left behind. Now, in December 2017, President Akufo-Addo cut short for the Marine Drive project. The ambitious project seeks to completely redesign the coast of Accra from the Osu Castle to the Baden Powerhouse close to the High Court.
So 1 year down the line, how far has the project progressed? Jeremiah's Bruna takes a look.
It is 15 months since President Akufo-Addo cut the short for the Marine Drive project. It was set to be completed within 10 years. Some leveling of the ground has been done in parts of the 250-acre area, but construction sites are yet to be found. The land is not unoccupied. Some ministry departments have the office where the Marine Drive is supposed to be built. And while some have already been relocated, government workers told us that they can't move because their place is still not ready, even though they have been asked to move already last year. The civil service, however, claims that there are no delays and that they are committed to preparing an appropriate place. But not only the departments have to be relocated. The Center for National Culture, commonly known as Art Center, also has to move. As the plans for the Marine Drive exist since Kwame Nkrumah's time, Art Center was always meant to be temporary. The negotiations about the relocation of Art Center to Kaukudi are ongoing. On the long term, people should return to a new art center within the Marine Drive. Victor Dusu Okanse is part of the stakeholders representing the people from Art Center and is confident of a regulated relocation.
The location is in the center of Accra. It's close to the airport. It's also close to the foreign missions. All in all, they could have fast-tracked it if they really meant it, but sometimes I think that the government has too much on its table already.
However, not all people from the Art Center look optimistic on their relocation.
Actually, for the Marine Drive, I think it's a good idea. But for me, I think when we move to a place that is not good for me, I have to go back home to do farming and stuff.
And that's it for NEWSNITE tonight. My name is Evans Mensah.
I am Emefa Apau. That's my opinion with Nanansa Call comes up next. So do we care about carnage on our roads?
That's a conversation up next. Stay with us here on Joy 99.7 FM.